The out-of-hours healthcare provider Take Care Now has lost its contract with NHS Suffolk after a string of complaints against them. The contract runs out in March. A different provider has been recommended by a board of health professionals today.
Last month, Take Care Now had its contract terminated with NHS Cambridgeshire. At a meeting today, a company called Harmony HS Limited, who already provide cover in North East Essex, was recommended as the preferred out-of-hours healthcare provider. It means in April next year, Take Care Now's contract in Suffolk will end.
I don't think there is any suggestion that the services provided by Take Care Now are deficient in any way. And they were not taken into account. The investigations that are ongoing were not taken into account in determining the bid.
Just a few weeks ago, Stephen Stemmer was in hospital. Whilst in intense pain, his wife repeatedly called Take Care Now for help. She was told a doctor was on the way. After waiting for 9 hours, she gave up and phoned an ambulance. Back at home recovering, the experience has left the couple critical of the service. They say the care they received was unacceptable.
The reason people phone out of hours is because they need some help, and just to be fobbed off with, oh, somebody's coming, is not enough. You only need one or two very dissatisfied people and it's let the whole system down.
That one there particularly.
And Annette Stemmer's views are not alone. Others are hoping a new company will bring better service.
With what's happened with Take Care Now, I don't think any of the public will be sorry to lose them. What we don't know is what the new organisation is like.
In a statement, Take Care Now have said, "We're disappointed at not having been re-awarded the contract. We're committed to continuing to deliver innovative and patient-centred care in other areas for NHS Suffolk." Harmony will take over the reins in April. It's not a moment too soon for Annette and Stephen Stemmer. Felicity Simper, BBC Look East.
A long-running pay dispute involving bus drivers in Essex is over. Drivers at First Group have agreed to accept a new pay offer. It follows a number of walkouts across the county. 7 days of strike action had been planned in the lead-up to Christmas. A new unit for stroke victims in Norfolk will open in the new year. The building, on the site of the Norwich Community Hospital, has cost £8 million. It will have 2 rehabilitation wards and will aim to improve recovery rates. A report earlier this year criticised the quality of care for stroke victims in the city.
The body of a man has been found in an underground car park in Norwich. It was found at a block of flats in King Street by a member of the public. The police say the death is being treated as unexplained. Safety advice is being given to people in Saffron, Walden following a fire in which an elderly couple died. Fire officers will visit homes near Mill Lane where the fire broke out last Friday. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
The superstore Tesco was in court today after accusations of a mice infestation at one of its stores. Its Martlesham Heath branch denies the charges. The case had previously been adjourned from May this year.
The Tesco defence team arrived early this morning. The Martlesham Heath store faces 8 charges, 6 for cleanliness, 1 for pest-proofing the store, another relating to adequate procedures to deal with pests. The case dates back to April 2007, when a customer said they saw a rat in the store. Subsequent visits by environmental officers not only found mice droppings in parts of the store, but an infestation. Key issues for the prosecution included that even though Tesco does have a pest-free policy, it failed in this instance to act on the findings of a mice infestation and to deal with the problems with the building which enabled the mice to enter the store. In defending, Tesco said they did engage in dealing with the problem without direction from the local authority at a comparatively early stage. Also, that they said that there was little evidence of damage or harm. The case has been adjourned until February next year, when Tesco will find out if they've been fined a maximum of £40,000. Dawn Gerber, BBC Look East, Ipswich.
One of the top trainers in Newmarket is backing a campaign against the building of 1,200 new homes in Newmarket. The proposal at Hatchfield Farm includes business units and a hotel. There's been stiff opposition from the whole racing community.
If it went ahead, it would be a disaster for Newmarket. I think one person will gain, Lord Derby, and probably 30,000 people taking Newmarket and the neighbouring villages and areas are going to suffer.
An outdoor swimming pool in Ipswich will be sold off or leased by the Borough Council. Broomhill Pool closed 7 years ago after falling into disrepair. It's a Grade 2 listed building.
The government has given its backing for the construction of a northern bypass around Norwich. Nearly 9 miles of dual carriageway is planned from Poswick to the A140 at Norwich International Airport. The road could open in 2015.
Not a done deal, but the bypass is a big step closer today. Motorists and businesses can't wait. Environmentalists are less convinced. The northern distributor route will stretch from Norwich Airport on the A140 to the A47 at Poswick in the east. And it's here where an extra £21 million has been secured to upgrade the junction. It'll also expand local businesses and housing potential and a nearby park and ride. The government says it'll pay 3/4 of the £91 million it'll cost to build the road. Perhaps easier said than done.
We've not got the cash in our hands today. That is quite correct. The only cash that we have effectively got is the cash for the Poswick hub.
So it's by no means in the bag?
Anything which depends on government decisions in years to come has some element of uncertainty.
Planning permission has to be sought, and it's expected there'll be a public inquiry as well. But the biggest hurdle yet could be the state of the economy. Alex Dunlop, BBC Look East, Norwich.
You're watching Look East from the BBC. Coming up, a special celebration at school. More than half the workers in this region have made a sacrifice to keep their jobs this year. Many people have taken either a pay cut or a pay freeze.
And figures out today suggest they are helping keep a lid on unemployment. Here's our business correspondent Richard Bond.
Yes, those figures show no change in the number of people out of work in the east. Unemployment now stands at 197,000, the same as in the previous quarter. The unemployment rate here is 6.6%, compared to the national average of 7.9%. But many workers are making real sacrifices to stay in work.
If there's one group of people who felt the chill of this recession more than most, it's the hauliers of Felixstowe. Trade through the port has plummeted, reducing their workload. At the firm Dave Connolly works for, everyone's had to take a pay cut of 8%, roughly £50 a week for a driver like him.
I didn't like it, but then again, if it was a case of keeping a job or not having a job, then I'd take the 8% pay cut.
LM Logistics employs 143 people. Its managing director says that without the pay cut, which affected him too, the company could have gone under.
Certainly people would have lost their jobs. Yes, ultimately the company could have gone bust and 140 people would be looking for work in Felixstowe. And in our industry at the moment, jobs are very, very few and far to come by. So I'm only grateful for the staff for everything they've done and the support they've showed the company.
Other firms where staff have agreed to work for periods on reduced pay include the Vauxhall van plant in Luton and the Delphi car parts factory in Sudbury, all to preserve jobs in the teeth of the recession.
More than half of all British workers have made sacrifices to protect jobs this year.
We're seeing salary sacrifices, people taking sabbaticals, people working extra hours without pay. There are all these sorts of measures that employees, being the unsung heroes, are prepared to take to save more jobs for the benefit of the total workforce.
The flexible nature of the labour market means unemployment has grown at a slower rate in this recession than in previous ones.
In fact, there's been virtually no increase in unemployment since the summer. It rose very quickly in the first half of the year, since when it's levelled off. But it's still expected to rise again next year.
Thank you, Richard.
Now, the dream went something like this. 2 clubs from this region heading for a cup final at Wembley. But it won't happen.